Well, hi everyone. This is Sony and Singh-Ray Ambassador Don Smith. And today I'd like to talk to you about all the buzz that's been coming down the pipe here lately regarding the beta version of Photoshop, where two worlds have collided now. Still photography, soon to be video photography, along with AI that actually looks real. I saw a headline the other day that said Adobe kills still photography. I've been getting a lot of people asking me about that and my thoughts on it. And my thoughts are this, simply, before we take a look at the technology. I had to sit down and ask myself, what is it about photography that brings me joy? What brings me joy is not being a digital creator. Or somebody who starts with an image and then adds to it, a graphic artist, let's say. My joy comes from planning, executing, executing, and then hoping Mother Nature cooperates in a way that I can create a meaningful image that means something to me. It's an emotional response that I'm looking forward to creating or engaging with nature, if that makes sense, and then sharing that with my viewers in a way that hopefully engages them in a similar way. And if I can make that connection between what I'm seeing out in the field and what my viewer is seeing in a finished image or a finished print, then I feel like that's it. That's as simple as it is for me. Personally, I enjoy being out in nature. I always have. It's just fantastic, the world we live in, if we can get past all the garbage and headlines that are out there these days. And you know what? We're not going to stop technology. Technology is going to continue to move down the pipe. So the next question I get, well, what about all these fake pictures we're seeing out on social media? Yeah, get used to it. It's just the beginning. You're going to get bombed with them. My personal way of handling all of this is to be honest, as I just want to live my life being honest. I always have. I had those values instilled in me from an early age. And I don't want to lie with my photographs. If I lie with my photographs, I'm no different than a writer who lies with his or her words. Okay, we can't blame the technology. I don't blame a writer. I don't blame the laptop he or she is writing on. I blame them if they're going to lie and try to pass it off as truth. And in the world of our sad news organizations out there today, we're being lied to all the time. So I take that into the world of photography, where my specialty is. I don't want to lie to my viewers. I want to create. Yes, when I get back at the computer, you're seeing my picture scrolling here. I will enhance the raw file, as much as I can. Or not as much as I can, but to the point that where I think I'm getting what I want out of the file that resembles what I saw in the field, or at least how I remember seeing it in the field. That's it. I don't add things to the scene. I've never dropped the moon in. I've never dropped the sky in. I can teach in 5 seconds how to drop a sky in. It's cool. I just don't do it. And if I ever did, and I think I did one time I put something out on social media, I immediately said, this guy didn't exist. This is from another file. So I think that's the way I'm going to handle it moving forward. I'm sure we're in the early stages of this. It's not even out on an official release of Photoshop. And we'll all have our own ways of dealing with this as we move forward. But these are just my initial early impressions. So having said all this, I did download it. I took a couple of days and just played, and it is phenomenal stuff, as you're going to see. So why don't we jump in and...
Okay, so why don't we take a look now at the how this all works, this generative AI. This is a picture I did with an iPhone out at Morro Rock, which is a volcanic rock that goes up like 572 feet. Pretty spring flowers. About a month ago with my iPhone. Got my big fat finger in the way. I showed you in our last video how I took that out with the remove tool. And I just had some fun with this picture. So let's jump into, so this is where I kind of went to town and had some fun. First thing I did was I wanted to kind of, well, actually the first thing I did, I almost forgot about, is I placed a little RAM up there. Everything I did, you have to make a selection and then a prompt box will come up. So I made a little selection, I put in RAM, and it kind of just, the cool thing is it figures out, you know, there's foliage, it's got to go back behind the foliage. I did bright yellow flowers. I did a battered surfboard. I thought it would be funny. I had the ocean behind me. What if a surfer like flew up there? That wouldn't really be funny, but for the sake of a funny picture. Then I went out and I set a surfer laying down facing right. Just so happened that he was holding his head. That made it even better. You get 3 shots at all of this stuff. Surfer looking out at the waves, and if we go back, you can see there are no waves up there. And then I put this girl walking, this guy walking down the rock, which I thought was very cool because it looks like he's really walking down. And then I wanted a girl laying on a surfboard back here. So, and look at this. I thought this was kind of cool how it just made the foliage, even right there, kind of come up and overlap the surfboard. Okay, then I got really crazy because I read or saw a video somewhere that you could create a blank canvas and create a picture from nothing. And so I took the rectangular marquee tool, came below halfway point, typed in sea arch, large sea arch, this came up. Then I took the sky select and selected it and typed in white puffy clouds. Then I took this area down here and selected it and said textured beach sand. There was a kind of a sharp line, so I took the remove tool and went over it. And then this was kind of funny, and I've left this in. You probably have already spotted this. I just selected this area here, and I said woman surfer laying on her board looking right. And it came up with this. But it grew fingers out of her elbow and it kind of cut in on the board. But I think honestly with the remove tool we could actually make that work. But that's for another day. So let me go up into Photoshop and I'm going to actually show you. Oh, and I didn't want this Photoshop, so just bear with me. All right, this is an image of another image of Morro Rock. This is the entrance to the bay here, and the reason it's changing colors, I have my move tool on, my object selection tool, excuse me. I'm going to click on the rectangle, and I got looking at this, and I thought, okay, this would be funny. Let's put this in, and I'm apologizing. Usually you would have the prompt come up right underneath. I turned that off. I don't know how to get that back on at this point, but I will figure it out. But anyway, if it doesn't come up, let's just come down to edit, not transform, generative fill, and there's your prompt box. So let's type in beached whale. Yeah, I know, I got a weird mind. And now it's going out and working with a cloud service. It's not Midjourney, it's one of the big ones, and it'll tell you when you download it which one they're working with. And it's trying to figure out, okay, he wants a whale, he wants it there, he wants it beached. And it's going to give me 3 choices. Actually, that looks really good right off the bat. I don't like, that one could work. And all 3 of those could really work. But that one's probably the best I've done in all the time I've been playing with this. Now, I'm going to stop right here because this is scary. If I was to flatten this file and title it, beached whale, and take it down to my local newspaper and say, I was out flying my drone really early this morning and look at this whale that washed up out there. And they ran it, there's going to get, ethics are going to get involved here. And this is the thing I was telling you about Adobe wanting to leave that breadcrumb trail. The sooner the better, as far as I'm concerned, because a lot of these bad mistakes are going to be made. I also want to point out the shadowing that goes on. It's hard to see on here, but the shadowing is so lifelike. Then I came up here and I said, you know, this can be kind of small, but you can move this box around. Let's put up man surfing. And we'll hit generate. I wish I wouldn't have clicked off because you could set it up automatically up here. But I've been digging around and I can't find how to get it to turn back on. I'm missing it somewhere. Okay, and I'm going to there's a guy writing just on the side of his board. Let's see if there's, he's standing. I don't like any of them, but one thing I will tell you, I want to go up under edit. Now you would think, okay, let's try scaling that up. But here's going to be the problem if I scale it up. You see what I mean? It's not going to blend, and when I hit it to blend, it's not going to blend. So I'm going to take that off. But here's what it will do. I found out if you come up to transform and hit rotate, especially on something small like this, you know, where do I want to go with him? A little bit more that way, where he's not heading towards the seawall, right? And now that looks kind of doable, but you'd have to work. You can see. Let me hit the zoom tool and come up here. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. Look at that. Okay, so I answered my own question there. But let's do one more while we're in here and playing around. And let me get this to fill the screen a little bit better. Let's go. Then I thought, what if we had a sailboat heading out of the Morro Bay Harbor here? So I'm going to put something like that, and I'm going to put small sailboat, and let's see what it comes up with. So this stuff's fun. I just couldn't see doing this as real photography. Graphic artists, stuff like that, or making a crazy picture for your friends. Yeah, I could see that, but hard pressed to see this as real art. Okay. Yeah, I guess that could work. Last thing, I'm finding it doesn't work great on skies, well, especially this is a cloudy sky. So let me come up to my object select tool, and I'm going to move in and double click on here, get it to select most of this sky. Okay, if I move that off, it missed down in here, but that's okay. I'm looking more at these clouds, and I am going to come back because my box went away, right? I'm going to come back to generative fill, and I am going to type in reddish, R-E-D-D-I-S-S-K-Y, reddish sky, and hit generate. And let me get my cursor out of there because every time I hover over one of these parts, it's looking to isolate it as a separate object. And let's see what happens. Usually it gives me way over the top skies, and then I have to back it off in the opacity. So I'm not thinking I'm going to get anything different. No, that's sky number 1, sky 2. Okay, sky 3 has potential. So let me close that out, and I'm going to come to and turn the layer off. And now I'm just going to start bumping in some of the warmth. But now you see it didn't really get that area up in there because it didn't do a good selection of the sky. I would have had to go back and really mask in the sky better. But you get the idea. But really, more than anything, this is what bothers me, because we're going to see a lot of this moving forward as something real happening, and when it's really a fake, and or we're going to say I did a better job on that sky, get a fake sky for landscape. You're all going, well, why don't you use sky replacement? Well, I don't use sky replacement. I don't add elements. I don't add things to the scene that weren't there. I'll coax color out of it, but I won't put something that's not there. It's just me. All of you are going to have to wrestle with this question. we AI is going to get into every facet of our lives. It's already moving there. Some of the good facets could be in medical breakthroughs, but this already is taking this art. Now, some of you go, hey, Doc, this will take it into a whole new art form. That's great. Just list it as that. Just list it that I didn't really, all these elements that I had put in there weren't really, this whale wasn't out there, this surfer wasn't out there, this boat wasn't out there, the sky I don't like, so I'll leave that off. But those elements weren't really there. I put them there. If you do that, that's great. I have no problems with that. I'm just fearful that photographers are not going to say that. And then they're going to say, this is exactly, I put the drone up, and this is exactly what I saw today. So all you will have to come to your own decision. I've come to mine. I'm just going to be a photographer and make it happen on the front end and just process to bring up the photo to share the emotion I felt. That's my way of thinking. Okay, we talked enough about this. We're going to move on. You guys all have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.